That's why every word got a bullet behind it. These jewels run deep, gotta dig to find it. This machine 250, the will I sit behind it. No more fast food eating, we dine chip biryani. Me and Shorty like.
This is a pleasure, man, because I love watching this guy fight, one of the best to do it. So I've always wanted to ask you, for you growing up, who were just some of your favorite fighters, man, just growing up?
You know what? For me, it was Roy Jones. Mike, definitely Mike Tyson. And then of course you got Trinidad and Oscar. Those were the ones that I watched growing up. And then before that, on studies, with Sugar Leonard, Hearns, Duran, and then Hagler. Those were the four ones that I really, really loved watching. In terms of like learning how to fight, and emulating fighters. But growing up, one thing that I really loved watching was it was me and Andre Ward. That was our best. Roy Jones was our favorite.
I love it, man. So I just got to ask you, man, if I didn't know anything about the sport of boxing and I walked up to you and said, you know what, man, and this is on the spot, and I'm sure you've been asked this, but a Mount Rushmore, you put four heads on the mountaintop, and you can do any generation, any era, you can mix in today with the past, but if it was four, who would be the four that you could, it would help me describe.
That's a lot.
And you know what, let's non-heavyweights. Let's have fun with it.
No, it's just there's a lot. I mean, for me, just the four kings in itself, they're already in their own Mount Rushmore. They already got their own stuff. But then you got Sugar Robinson. You get all the old school fighters. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. I'll have really big mountains of all the faces that I like. You know what I mean? But yeah, those guys are incredible people, man. Incredible fighters.
I love that. I love that. If I had to cut on the TV to a young 8-year-old who wants to get in boxing, and I had to pick one of your fights for them to watch and study, what fight would you want them to watch?
I would say the first Darchinyan fight, because I was the underdog, and I was supposed to lose that fight, and I came in there, and it just shows a lot of heart, a lot of authenticity from the victory, and just the focus in going to that fight. I think that was one of the fight that you can learn a lot as a human being, and being the underdog, and going in there and just having the upset, So yeah.
I love that. I love that. So one thing I love about boxing, just like any other sport, is the evolution of the athlete. What I mean by that is just athletes being able to promote themselves, get themselves out there. So like for me, video game culture comes to mind. Obviously, we played Fight Night growing up. We got Undisputed. Just seeing things like that, guys being able to promote themselves and do certain things on their own. How do you feel about that?
That's incredible. I mean, for me, as a fighter, they've always told us, especially with my wife and manager, she always tells me, hey, do this and do that. And for fighters, and not just me, but a lot of fighters back in the days, and even now, they just don't want to do it because all they want to do is fight, But now that you see a lot of that stuff, that's great, because at the end of the day, you're allowing people to see who you are. You're allowing people to see what you're capable of, and you're allowing people to see not just the fighter, but the person outside of that.
Love it, love it. Two more questions for me, man. So if I could put you in a time machine, we're going to go to Cowboy Stadium, right? This is where the fight is going to be held at. No, we'll do Vegas. We'll let you pick the venue, but I want you to pick the venue, and I want you to pick an all-time fighter that you wish you had a chance to fight. Who would be the one fighter that you would love to get in the ring and iron sharp as iron? You can pick the venue and everything. Who would that be?
You know what, man? I don't know, bro. I honestly, I've always just given the respect to all the fighters, and I always kind of look at it. I never look back in the past or anything like that. So I've always just been like the present kind of guy, But given the name, I mean, man, that's a lot for me, because I don't really think about that. But I would say, going back, I mean, I guess I'd mix it up again with Rigondeaux in the past, because I felt that I was at my best in that thing, because I was just on top of the world, But that would probably something that I want to go back and have fun with, But I don't know, man. That's a tough one, because there's so many names out there. But I just got a lot of respect for all the fighters in different generations that I can't really say to put myself in with them, except for the person that I already was in with, that I could have changed the trajectory or the decision because of how my mind was back in the days.
Love it. Last question for me. So obviously we got a great fight weekend coming up, man, but I got to ask you, man. Obviously, the big fight September. We got Canelo and we got Bud Crawford. Obviously, two guys that you're a fan of the sport. How do you feel about that fight? You don't have to predict, but just how do you see that fight, man? And what advantages do you see for both guys, if you could?
Canelo has the weight. You know, he's been fighting this game in this division for a very long time, and he can punch. But Crawford can box. You know, it doesn't matter what weight he is, as long as you don't touch him. That's all there is to it. Just like Mayweather did. You know. But it is going to be a big difference between getting hit and then getting hit with the bigger fighter, right? So that's just how it's going to look like, how it's going to change his mindset. But if he continue to be who he is, that we've seen him using in boxing and not getting hit with punch, I think that it's going to be a hell of a fight that can be changed. It can change a trajectory on how the fight's going to go.
Love it, man. Well, congratulations, man. I'm not going to say retire, but I'm going to say one day I look forward to watching that Hall of Fame speech and everything, but keep doing your thing, bro.
I still got it, brother.
I know you do.
I'm the interim world champion at the moment by 3 weeks ago, and you're still going to see me. That's it.
Keep on working, brother.
That's why every word got a bullet behind it. These jewels run deep, gotta dig to find it. This machine 250, the will I sit behind it. No more